right. We are going to go play some games today. But Bank of England prepares for potential financial crisis from UFO and alien disclosure. The UK must plan for a new financial crisis that would be triggered when the US government announces aliens exist. Bank of England is now preparing for it. This has to be cap. All right, so the UK and Bank of England are preparing for a potential financial crisis. The US government says we are not alone and that UFOs, UAPs, USOs, and alien life are disclosed. I mean, would that really shake markets? I mean, hold on. For real. Aliens get disclosed. They're real. They're here. They've come back and forth. Would that tear down the whole system? So former BOE analyst Helen McCall has previously worked in financial security at the Bank of England, helping develop plans for theoretical economic crisis, including the one now that she sees as a possibility in a full UFO and alien disclosure scenario. She wrote to Andrew Bailey, who is the Bank of England's governor, urging him to set out contingencies in case the Trump administration and the White House confirms the existence of alien life. McCall wrote, there might be extreme price volatility in financial markets due to catastrophizing or euphoria and a collapse in confidence if market participants feel uncertain on how to price assets using any of the familiar methods. If there's an official announcement, we get presented with very clear evidence that nobody's going to dispute. I would say that in a matter of hours, you're going to have total financial instability. Now, McCall has pinned out a few different potential future scenarios that would happen if disclosure on alien life happened, with one of them being a jump to Bitcoin as a safe haven asset due to the possible obliteration of trust in traditional and government-based power structures. She added there might be a rush to digital currencies such as Bitcoin, which may prove appealing if people question the legitimacy of government and lose trust in government-backed assets. Is this Bitcoin advertising right now, or is this an actual thing? You know what I mean? Who is this McCall? The United States government appears to be partway through a multi-year process to declassify and disclose information on the existence of technologically advanced non-human intelligence responsible for unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAPs. If the UAP proves to be of non-human origin, we may have to acknowledge the existence of a power intelligence greater than any government and with potentially unknown intentions. So how the hell is Bitcoin going to save us? All right, some of you, I don't know, you're part of the Bitcoin cult. I don't know. It's interesting because there's another article that came out this past weekend that talked about the risk of Bitcoin and digital currencies as a whole, and that being quantum computing. It's interesting that this came right after that, but whatever. Bank of England issues warning following the potential confirmation of alien life. So this one from Joshua. The Bank of England has been warned of an impending market crash if it is confirmed that alien life exists on our planet. Back in November last year, an alien-focused documentary titled The Age of Disclosure was released on Prime Video, featuring a senior U.S. government official. It focused on the belief that the existence of alien life has been covered up by the U.S. government for decades, which is a claim often dismissed. I mean, Joe Rogan's been saying it now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's literally like every Joe Rogan podcast for like the past 10, 15 years. However, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who is one of the highest ranking members of the current government, was interviewed in the doc. Rubio, known to be a Donald Trump ally, claimed that UFOs have been seen flying above restricted nuclear facilities. I thought it was China. He could be heard saying, we've had repeated instances of something operating in the airspace above restricted nuclear facilities, and it's not ours. So you're saying it's not China? Rubio further claimed that presidents have been operating on a need-to-know basis when it comes to this knowledge. The documentary suggests that the U.S. has been covering this up for around 80 years. And while many may have let these claims slip their memory since, the subject is back in the spotlight. A former Bank of England expert has claimed that the U.K. must plan for a potential financial crisis, which could be triggered if the U.S. confirmed that aliens exist. Helen McCall, a former senior analyst in financial security at the Bank of England, wrote to Andrew Bailey, the Bank of England's governor, warning them to prepare for any future announcement of alien life from the White House. The Times reports that McCall, who worked for the nation's central bank for 10 years until 2012, urged politicians and bankers not to dismiss the possibility of us not being alone in a universe, suggesting banks could collapse. The United States government appears to be partway through a multi-year process to declassify and disclose information on the existence of a technologically advanced non-human intelligence responsible for unidentified anomalous phenomenon, she reportedly claimed. Dude, if it comes out like the Epstein files, it's just going to be like 2 words and then just redacted, just black lines, just redacted all the way down. You know where I'm coming from? How are we supposed to get information out of that? And then not only that, I'm gonna be honest, if an alien showed up right now and there was footage circulating on the internet, no one would believe it. I mean, I'm serious. No one would believe it at this point. People would see that and be like, AI, that's some AI shit. No one would believe that. There might be extreme price volatility in financial markets due to catastrophizing or euphoria. So same comment from earlier. She then suggested that precious metals may alternatively lose their status as safe if people speculate that spacefaring technology will cause a spike in the supply of these materials. What the Dude, she's bought and paid for by Bitcoin. There's no other answer. She's bought and paid for. Bitcoin done got to her. Somebody look up her background. So you're telling me aliens show up and they have fantastic technology, right? Our current currencies dead, banks dead, and precious metals also dead. But Bitcoin is safe? If you got the technology to traverse the stars, Bitcoin ain't fucking safe. Hell, it ain't even safe from quantum computing as is. That's the biggest risk hitting Bitcoin right now. This has been one of the biggest, and it's interesting that this dropped. This dropped, I think, Friday. This article is Sunday, but the news dropped around Friday. Fear that quantum computing is on the cusp of cracking cryptocurrencies. Encryption spurs a global investment firm to remove Bitcoin from recommendations. This has been the big talk since about last week. Senior financial strategist Christopher Wood said in the latest issue of the Greed and Fear newsletter that he's removing 10% Bitcoin allocation from his recommended portfolio. He justified this move by saying that advancements in quantum computing pose a threat to the cryptocurrency's cryptographic protections, thus undermining its argument of durability through network security. According to Bloomberg, Wood recommends replacing Bitcoin with an investment with a 5% allocation to physical gold and another 5% set for gold mining stocks. Wood, who is the global head of equity strategy at the global investment banking firm Jefferies, first included Bitcoin in a sample portfolio in December 2020. He then grew it to 10% in 2021, citing the fear of inflation because of stimulus checks the government released during the height of the COVID pandemic. However, advancements in quantum community have long-term investors concerned about the implications, especially for cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin currently uses the SHA-256 hashing algorithm, which is technically impossible to crack with current computing technology. However, there have been reports as far back as 2022 that quantum computers could crack Bitcoin by the 2030s. An event like this would cause chaos in the system, resulting in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies losing its value overnight, especially if the break comes as a surprise. The argument to this, though, is that if quantum computing can do that to Bitcoin and other cryptos, it could do that to the current financial systems anyways. You know what I'm saying? Despite this, many cryptocurrency developers aren't as concerned as Wood and other financial experts. For one, current quantum computing capabilities are nowhere near powerful or stable enough to defeat current cryptography algorithms, so they remain safe for the time being. Besides that, progress in the field of quantum computing is slow and public, meaning developers would have ample warning that they need to upgrade their algorithms. Then it's all good. Everything's good. Your crypto is safe, fellas. To the moon. Anyways, the only reason why we're even looking at this story is because I'm just sitting there connecting the dots to aliens and nobody seems to care. Now, are there actually aliens? That's more important to me. I don't care about the financial markets or if Bitcoin is the best damn asset to own in an alien environment. I just want to know, are they real? Why hide this information? If we found out tomorrow aliens were real, I really don't think it would shake things up that much. I think people would just be like, fucking knew it. I really feel like people would just be like, yep, I knew that. I knew that shit. Those documentaries, a lot of people feel very vindicated. The real question is what they look like. Are we talking, a little creepy looking? Are we talking something else? I'm just throwing it out there. You would have a very accepting human population if them aliens were sexy. You know what I mean? Look, my concern is this. On who is it? Helen McCall. Maybe Helen McCall is an honest person and she's not trying to pump Bitcoin right now. That's my only issue I have with crypto. Crypto people will fucking say anything to pump that shit. I've literally heard a guy talk about crypto saving his marriage. And maybe crypto did save your marriage. But come on, man. Come on. Anything that gets you into the crypto cult will be said. Will be fucking said. Look, do you think aliens are real? I can't believe I'm actually asking you guys this. But more importantly, do you think they are real and they've made contact with us? That's the best way to put it. Because obviously, the universe being as big as it is, surely it has life out there. I will say this. People won't believe it until... I don't even know if even if the government came out and said aliens are real, I don't even know if people would believe it then. You know what I'm saying?
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.